morning in a story we've been following, U.S. auto sales is officially shutting down operations for good.
Buying a bad car doesn't start with a breakdown, it starts with a decision, and too many people are still choosing the wrong brand. These 11 vehicles look like smart buys, but underneath they're engineering disasters, financial traps, and dealership secrets rolled into one. Curious which innovative EV is already becoming a liability, or which luxury SUV turns into a flooded wreck? Stay to the end because the final brand still tricks even the savviest buyers. Nissan, from everywhere to nowhere. Once a symbol of affordable Japanese reliability, Nissan has decayed into a shell of its former self. The real story isn't about a single model. It's about how Nissan lost its grip on trust, performance, and purpose. Start with the Rogue. This compact SUV, once a top choice for suburban families, has become a cautionary tale in modern design failure. Its continuously variable transmission, once hailed as innovative, is now one of the most hated drivetrain components on the road. Owners report jerking, slipping, and complete failure, often before reaching 100,000 miles. Replacement costs range from $30,500 to $8,000, depending on location and drivetrain. And that's if the dealership even has the parts ready, which is far from guaranteed. The Altima shares the same fate. Across the 2015-2020 model years, complaints poured in detailing identical transmission problems. The promise of fuel efficiency collapses when the car spends more time in the service bay than in motion. Camshaft and crankshaft sensor issues, intake gasket leaks, and failing catalytic converters round out the Altima's miserable resume. Once a competitor to the Honda Accord and Toyota Camry, the Altima now resembles a vehicle that gave up trying. Then comes the Frontier, a truck that looks the part but struggles with the basics. The 2018-2021 models have been criticized for unresponsive steering, an outdated interior, and a ride quality that feels like punishment. Despite its off-road styling, the Frontier has been left in the dust by rivals like the Toyota Tacoma or Ford Ranger. Nissan scaled back production, but the damage to consumer trust is harder to reverse. From design stagnation to engineering shortcuts, Nissan's downfall wasn't a single event. It was 1,000 small compromises, each one slowly draining value from the badge. Still, there's one thing worse than buying a car that breaks. Buying a luxury vehicle that does the same thing and charges triple for the privilege. We dug through reliability reports, ownership surveys, and repair databases so you don't have to. Now you've got the truth brands don't want you to hear. If that saved you time or money, hit subscribe and let us know in the comments. Jaguar, the expensive headache. You don't drive a Jaguar, you survive it. The F-Pace enters the room with charisma, sleek lines, a muscular stance, and that unmistakable British badge. It promises power, sophistication, and prestige. What it delivers is chaos. Models built between 2016 and 2020 are now infamous. The infotainment system freezes mid-navigation. The stop-start function misfires in hot weather. And the interior, it literally melts. Drivers report glue seeping from the steering wheel. A disgusting reminder that some luxury touches are only skin-deep. Squeaks and rattles infiltrate the cabin like a broken symphony. Doors, dashboards, and suspension components lose harmony and then fall apart. The mechanical issues are worse. Transmission glitches emerge early, oil leaks follow, and sensors fail at alarming rates. Jaguar's hallmark has become unpredictability. Owners second-guess every alert, every lag, every delay. One repair visit leads to another, then another. Over a 5-year period, the average F-Pace racks up over $13,000 in repair bills, not including routine maintenance or emergencies, just the privilege of keeping it on the road. J.D. Power slapped Jaguar with below-average reliability ratings across nearly all categories. For many, it's a deal breaker. For others, it's a delayed realization that arrives only after the warranty expires. Jaguar once built legends. Now it builds liabilities disguised in leather. For buyers drawn in by elegance and name recognition, the fall is especially painful. And yet, this story isn't unique. There's another brand that took an even more powerful legacy and turned it into a slow-motion breakdown. Jeep, America's off-road. Lie they invented the SUV, then weaponized nostalgia. Buyers thought they were purchasing history. What they got was an expensive lesson in mechanical failure. Start with the Wrangler. Third-generation models, 2007-2018, delivered more recalls than road trips. Electrical bugs plagued owners from day one. Brake systems failed. Steering systems were so loose that drivers described them as suggestions rather than commands. The infamous death wobble of the 2017 Wrangler wasn't an isolated incident. It was a systemic flaw that led to 5 federal investigations and over 1,500 complaints. The 2018 model, hailed as the best of the worst, suffered 12 recalls, a grim reminder that iconic styling doesn't fix poor engineering. Ride comfort, a non-negotiable for modern buyers, fell apart. The seats are stiff, the cabin cramped, and the suspension bounces over city streets like a poorly tuned trampoline. Jeep's Grand Cherokee should have been the redemption arc. Instead, it delivered premature brake wear, glitchy power steering, and the nightmare totally integrated power module, TIPM. TIPM failures lead to no start issues, random stalling, or complete electrical shutdown, all without warning. Replacement costs run into the thousands if you can even find a dealership willing to diagnose it properly. For a brand built on rugged adventure, the reality is a patchwork of recalls, lawsuits, and regret. Only 25% of Wrangler owners believe their vehicle will hit 200,000 miles. A stunning stat for a brand that sells longevity as a lifestyle. Yet Jeep's fall from grace is only part of a larger story. Because now it's time to talk about a manufacturer that sells itself on German engineering while delivering mechanical anxiety in disguise. Volkswagen engineering or illusion? German engineering once stood as a global benchmark. Overbuilt components, mechanical elegance, and trust that the machine beneath you would last a generation. But for too many Volkswagen drivers today, those ideals have rusted away, replaced by dashboard chaos, mystery noises, and breakdowns that feel almost intentional. Start with the Jetta. Once an icon for affordable European performance, it now carries a warning label in buyer forums. The 2019 model year marked a visible shift. Reliability scores collapsed to 1 out of 5 stars. Owners reported a flawed transmission that stumbled through gear shifts with hesitation, jerks, and grinding noises, especially in the ironically named Eco mode. Dealerships shrugged it off as normal, but when normal sounds like sabotage, trust collapses fast. The problems deepen. Head gasket failures lead to coolant leaks, overheating, and engine damage costing thousands to fix, often in low-mileage vehicles. Add failing window regulators, trunk latches that break randomly, and misaligned doors, and the Jetta feels more like a prototype than a production car. Now scale up those problems to the Atlas, marketed as the ultimate family SUV. Engine issues. Begin with connecting rod bearings, small components that, when they fail, cause catastrophic stalls or total engine seizure. The brake master cylinder has caused total brake failure in documented cases, with no warning until it's too late. Electrical glitches plague the Atlas. Infotainment crashes, ghost alerts, and malfunctioning reverse cameras turn driving into a stress-inducing game. Even the turbocharged 4-cylinder engine wheezes under load, offering none of the confident push an SUV should. Volkswagen built its name on reliability and precision, but what drivers experience now is an illusion, an expensive one that collapses the moment you drive off the lot. Think that's bad? Wait until you see what happens when prestige turns into a paycheck-devouring machine. Audi, prestige in pieces. Audi isn't just selling vehicles, it's selling status. The Q5 promises luxury, power, and German precision, but the more time owners spend behind the wheel, the more that image unravels. The 2.0L turbocharged engine should be a masterpiece. In practice, it gulps oil like a high-mileage beater. Owners top off oil weekly to prevent low-pressure warnings. Let it go too long, and the engine wears out fast. Some fail completely outside of warranty. The PCV, positive crankcase ventilation system, is almost guaranteed to fail early, causing acceleration, delays, engine sputters, and idle surges. Repairs are costly and reappear frequently, making it one of the most complained about Audi components of the last 5 years. The tech package offers no relief. Infotainment screens freeze mid-navigation. Climate controls glitch into full heat mode in summer. Parking sensors cry wolf and rear cameras flicker or fail. These aren't isolated incidents. They're repeated themes across forums and service departments. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, Audi throws in water leaks. Not just drips, but pooled moisture in footwells and trunks, leading to mildew, rust, and electronic failure. Safety isn't safe either. Emergency braking, blind spot. Alerts and adaptive cruise suffer from sensor errors. For a brand pushing autonomous features, these lapses aren't just embarrassing, they're dangerous. Resale value is slipping, repair costs are rising, and dealership waitlists for basic parts stretch weeks long. But if you think German automakers are the only ones bleeding reputation, just wait, because the next brand took reliability off the table entirely, Mitsubishi, when cheap costs you more. The Mirage wasn't discontinued with a bang, it was quietly erased. A whisper of regret buried beneath dealer inventory that wouldn't move, no matter the incentives. It's the kind of car that lures buyers with a too-good-to-be-true sticker price, then punishes them every mile they drive. The heart of the misery? An unrefined 3-cylinder engine that groans, hesitates, and vibrates so much at idle that passengers mistake it for a mechanical fault. Acceleration feels like pleading with the car to keep up with traffic. Drivers describe it as wanting to stall out of embarrassment. Reliability on paper? Maybe. In reality, sensors fail without warning, including acceleration and airbag sensors. Doors refuse to latch properly after light use. Hinges loosen far sooner than expected when your vehicle can't promise it'll shut. Lock or deploy airbags in a crash. Its cheap price isn't a bargain, it's a risk. Inside, things don't improve. Plastic so thin you can flex it with your knee. Upholstery that frays after a few hot summers. Crash test scores so poor. Rear passenger safety was deemed inadequate. Even the low maintenance cost, under $500 a year, becomes irrelevant when you're visiting the shop more often than changing your oil. The Mirage vanished from showrooms in late 2024. No redesign, no replacement, no farewell. It was never meant to be there in the first place. Yet as much as the Mirage failed, there's another brand that built something even worse. A car that looked like it was smiling as it sent owners into financial despair. Find the Jelly Bean. On stilts, the 500L is what happens when design wins an argument over engineering. Quirky? Absolutely. Memorable? Maybe. Functional? Not a chance. Fiat tried to cash in on the crossover craze by stretching their iconic city car into something vaguely SUV shaped. The result? One of the most forgettable flops in modern automotive history. Owners of 2014-2017 models faced engine. Stalling at stoplights, sometimes failing to restart without multiple attempts. Transmission meltdowns, sudden gear slipping, grinding, and delays that make merging feel like playing chicken. Safety recalls, airbags that didn't deploy, fuel leaks, suspension defects. When the 500L wasn't falling apart, it was depreciating faster than buyers could pay it off. Samet lost over 50% of its value in 3 years. Ride quality? Despite the elevated profile, it bounced over bumps, rattled on rough roads, and leaned awkwardly into turns. Routine driving felt laborious, like the car was trying to escape its own design. Fiat ended production in the US in 2021. No upgrade, no redemption arc. It came. It failed. It vanished. And the people who bought it? They're still trying to forget. Now imagine a vehicle that didn't disappear, but stayed just long enough to build a loyal following, before quietly betraying their trust. Buick, comfortably unreliable. The Encore seems like a perfect fit for modern life, small footprint, decent mileage, smooth ride. But open the hood or the owner forums, and the truth unravels. This isn't a car that gets better with time. It's one that tests your patience the longer you keep it. Issues with 2015 and later models include unpredictable failures, turbocharged engine struggles on inclines, AC dies in peak summer, electrical glitches, dashboard errors, infotainment, lockups, safety concerns, airbag recalls, seatbelt tension failures, brake issues, sluggish performance. The 6-speed automatic hesitates, making responsiveness inconsistent or dangerous. The infotainment system, outdated by 2020 standards, becomes a source of frustration. Resale value is among the lowest in its class because informed buyers know the truth, a short-term solution that becomes a long-term regret. For a vehicle sold under the promise of premium comfort and GM reliability, the Encore delivers neither in the long run. Dodge. Speed with a price. The Durango hits 60 mph in 5 seconds. Impressive until repair bills catch up faster. Marketed as a muscular family hauler, it's a ticking financial bomb. Issues include engine failures, exhaust manifold cracks, electronic faults, $5,000 to $7,000 in repairs before 60,000 miles, outdated cabin, hard plastics, aging infotainment, middling crash test scores, worn suspension, premature brake wear, drivetrain vibration. For a vehicle often priced over $50,000, it lacks the refinement buyers expect. Performance alone doesn't justify the compromise. Rivian, the $40,000 fender bender, the R1T stunned early adopters with bold design and cutting-edge tech until minor accidents led to $40,000 repair quotes. Why? Design prioritizes innovation. Over practicality, integrated body panels and battery placement complicate repairs. Limited service centers, parts delays, months-long waits, even for a cracked taillight, software instability, sensor errors, sudden shutdowns. Owners expected refinement. Instead, they got rushed production and unpredictable costs. Land Rover, the luxury time bomb, the Discovery, 2017 to 2020, ranks among the most unreliable vehicles in North America, with 24,000 plus reported failures. Air suspension collapses within years, leaving the vehicle undrivable. Drivetrain seizures, transmission lurches, infotainment freezes, roof leaks, body panel misalignment, brake issues. Post-warranty ownership is a nightmare. $10,000 annually just to keep it running. Resale values collapse within 3 years. For a brand selling elite capability, these vehicles spend more time in service bays than on the road. Final thoughts. Which of these brands have you dealt with? Did problems start early or sneak up after? The warranty ran out? Share your story in the comments and let others know what to avoid in 2025. Thanks for watching.